Hundreds of properties destroyed, at least 8 people dead.
People in eastern Kentucky say they've never seen waters rise so quickly, and there's more rain in the forecast.
Live from Lexington, this is Fox 56 News. Now, breaking news.
Good evening. It's been a devastating day for thousands of people in southeastern Kentucky as entire communities are left underwater.
A state of emergency has been declared and rescue efforts continue in at least 6 counties across the state as some people are still stranded in the floods. At last check, 8 people have died from these storms and there are still many unaccounted for at this hour. Kentucky's National Guard along with multiple state agencies have been mobilized as it has become an all-hands-on-deck operation.
The flooding has been described as historic in parts of Perry County, where people are used to seeing rivers overflow their banks.
We have team coverage throughout the region, starting with Bodie Brooks, who is in the Buellin community near Hazard.
Take a closer look behind me. This home, it wasn't here yesterday. The woman who lived here describes a night of absolute terror. The sounds of cracking and splintering through the night as her home was ripped right off its foundations.
Scared to death, like you're gonna get sucked up. You're watching a house go. Something you think solid.
It all happened fast. Kelly Price has her neighbors to thank for potentially saving her life.
Woke me up about 1 in the morning. The water was starting to come up over, and we went and moved our vehicles to higher ground.
Amid the chaos, she grabbed what valuables she could and switched the power off, fleeing to her neighbor's trailer.
It wasn't too long after that the house started to move. First boat in, and then it was sort of hung on the electric line, and then the electric line snapped, and there went the house.
She says they were completely surrounded by rushing water, fearing for their lives, unable to reach any help.
911 was busy, and I heard it wasn't even just here. I have a good friend that's in Breathitt County, and she said it was the same issue there.
Inside the home, barely anything survived. The floors are caked in mud.
We stepped in once. It was real slick and uneven, and it was still sitting in somewhat water. We were sort of scared, so we haven't been back in.
Price will now be leaning on the help of her neighbors for a place to stay until she's back on her feet. In Perry County, Bodie Brooks, Fox 56 News.
Rescue crews from across the state and neighboring states are descending on Kentucky to help. Here's a photo of the Tennessee Helicopter Aquatic Rescue Team on its way to Perry County from Nashville. 3 teams are being flown to the area to assist Kentucky's National Guard as it tries to rescue as many stranded people as possible. As we continue to make sense of today's devastation, a major concern is what's next in the forecast.
For that answer, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Chris Johnson. Chris.
Yeah, guys, certainly been a busy day here in the weather world with this historic flooding event that has been unfolding, especially earlier today across southeastern Kentucky, and still dealing with lots of issues out there. And look at this, power outages, several thousand outages still being reported in some of the hardest hit areas, on top of folks missing, folks unable to get a hold of other people, their family members, their friends. It's just a really bad situation. And look at some of the rainfall totals over the last 24 hours. You can see some of the hardest hit areas showing up just to our south and east. And I went back and I looked at some of the rain totals and put those on here for you folks to see this. Just an incredible amount of water across southeastern Kentucky. And this amount of water in this type of terrain, it's just bad news. And we're seeing that now with all the photos, the videos, the rescues that are ongoing across these areas with a swath of 6 upwards to 10, even close to 12 inches of rainfall in some spots. Catastrophic as far as flooding is concerned. Unfortunately, we're not done yet. Cold front still has to make its way through the Commonwealth. And look at this, another round of showers and storms ramping up just to our west. These will track towards the east, and some of these throughout this evening into tonight could be on the strong to severe side, packing not only high wind gusts, but torrential rainfall, which could lead to more flooding issues, something we're going to keep a close eye on as we work through this evening. We'll talk more about that forecast and what's ahead for the weekend coming up. Guys.
All right, Chris, thank you. Breathitt County is one of several counties waiting for the water to go down.
Let's go there now, where Danielle Miskell continues our team coverage. She spoke with families whose homes are destroyed by the flash flooding. Danielle.
Yeah, so I was on my way to Knott County, and I was stopped here in the city of Jackson. I couldn't go any further because I saw the river pouring over this highway right here, which is Highway 15. Also, anything beyond this point, you lose cell service. Now, I was able to get down Highway 15 a little bit of the ways and speak to some families that live along the river. Most of them told me that they have lived there their whole lives, and they have seen some bad flooding, but nothing at this scale.
This is a world beater.
Homeowner Archie Combs says he's been up since 4 a.m. That's when the National Weather Service sent out a flash flood warning.
Went down and the river level was perhaps 15 feet less than what it is now. So we immediately, being experienced with this kind of thing, we immediately began to move a lot of valuable items, and I don't think we moved them quite high enough in the garage.
You can see all the items he saved and the ones he couldn't get to in time.
Oh, there's two vehicles in there underwater as we speak. But as you can see, the yard's sitting full of all these things that we have moved. We've really hustled.
Combs has been up to his neck in water, still trying to get his things and help his daughter out, whose home is just right behind his.
Well, this is a mobile home here. It is on a block foundation, of course, and anchored appropriately as it should be. But I can just glancing over that home, I can tell you now that this flood is at least 16 inches higher than it was in March the 1st.
But the water is rising fast.
About 2 o'clock, and we're still getting about 6 inches raising per hour. So we're really not done yet. When rest assured, this is a record flood.
Combs says he's lived in this home since 1981. He's dealt with severe flooding in 1984 and in 2021, but says he's never seen water come up this quickly.
Very, very unusual. You'd have this kind of flood water on this river this close together. Tells me our weather patterns have changed tremendously.
And I got as far as Lost Creek. Down there, I saw emergency rescue crews and school buses. They're getting everyone who is evacuated from their homes to the nearest shelters. Live in the city of Jackson, I'm Danielle Miskell, Fox 56 News.
Danielle, thank you. And this is what the cleanup process looks like for residents in Pike County. Many of the roads are covered in debris, some with large chunks of concrete coming off. Pike County EMS says it had to do more than a dozen water rescues. People who have lived here their entire lives say they've never seen flooding this devastating.
Honestly, I don't think you ever think that you're going to experience it. Like, I've lived here for about 20 years. And you never think this is going to happen to you, but we woke up this morning, seeing on Facebook all of our families flooded, like our house, our homes are flooded. It's pretty crazy.
And residents will continue to wade through the waters into the night as they pick up the pieces.
Governor Andy Beshear confirms at least 8 people died in the flooding, but he says many people are unaccounted for, and he expects the death toll will go much higher. He also implored people in eastern Kentucky to keep up with the forecast tonight and to take action if they're facing danger.
If the water is close to your house, if you are in a place that floods regularly or with a lot of rain might flood, the ground is really saturated. If you're in these areas or even close to them and you can go stay with somebody else tonight, please do. You know, last night most likely we lost people in the middle of the night, maybe even in their sleep. We want you to be safe.
The governor also announced a relief fund to help victims, much like the one that was set up to help Western Kentucky tornado victims in December. You can donate online at teamekYFloodReliefFund.ky.gov. There's a link on our website. Also, if you're missing a loved one in the flood areas, you can call the state police post there at 606-435-6069. That's 606-435-6069. Do not call 911.
The governor also announced locations of relief shelters for people who have lost their homes to the floods. Those locations include Pine Mountain, Jenny Wiley, and Buckhorn Lake State Parks. Local shelters are also popping up at churches and schools in Perry County, one of the hardest hit areas. Truckloads of supplies, including food and water, are being brought in by the National Guard for those filling these shelters.
Several prominent Kentucky figures are weighing in on today's flooding, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who said, quote, "My prayers are with families in eastern Kentucky facing heavy floods, mudslides, and power outages this week. My team is in close contact with local officials, and I'm ready to provide any help I can." McConnell went on to thank the first responders who are helping Kentuckians stay safe in the floods.
And staying with us, our team coverage continues on a devastating day in eastern Kentucky.
After the break, we'll head back to Breathitt County as cleanup and rescues continue.
You're watching Fox 56 News. Our home, your news. This is Fox 56 News with Marvin Bartlett, Imani Payne, and weather with Chris Johnson.
Welcome back. Governor Beshear says it could take a year or more for some communities to recover from the flash flooding we saw overnight.
People in Breathitt County say they can't imagine what the cleanup process will be like once the floodwaters recede. Georgia MacArthur is there tonight with a first-hand look at the damage. Georgia.
Hey, Marvin and Imani, when we arrived here on this scene earlier this afternoon, none of this water was here. And as you can see, my feet completely submerged underwater. We talked to surveyors within this area, and they told me that this water in some parts measures at least 40 feet deep. Homeowners are facing yet another eastern Kentucky tragedy. Parts of the state under a state of emergency. In the city of Jackson, mobile homes are halfway underwater. I talked to one resident who says he rushed out within minutes.
Well, I checked on it last night about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and it was like a foot being up at the top of the riverbank down there. I woke up this morning, it was around the side of the house. Before we got out, it was coming up on the steps. I waited out knee deep to get out.
Marvin and Imani, some of these residents are completely in tears. Some say that just minutes ago that they were actually trying to locate some of their loved ones.
Quite a scene there, Georgia. Have the people there experienced anything like this before?
Yes, Marvin, I talked to one homeowner who tells me that in March of 2021, this was the same scene. And he tells me now it is like reliving his worst nightmare.
And Georgia, quickly, how are they holding up right now?
You know, it's one thing to actually see all the images on social media, but to actually see it happening is one thing. And I will tell you that some of these homeowners out here are very resilient. Now, we'll continue to bring you more updates in Breathitt County as we learn them on air and on our website at fox56news.com. Live in Breathitt County, George MacArthur, Fox 56 News.
Yeah, just a heartbreaking scene there, no doubt about it. And listen, folks, we're not done yet. We're going to track out more rain and storm chances later this evening into tonight. Also, holding on to those rain chances for your Friday. We're going to have details on what is an active forecast ahead coming up.
Tomorrow, wake up with the Fox 56 Morning News, the only news that stays local from 5 to 9.
Welcome back. Well, you know, it's just been a heartbreaking day hearing the stories of people stranded in their home and seeing all that damage in southeastern Kentucky.
Yeah, and Chris, you've been here on the air from the very beginning, and we know you yourself have some eastern Kentucky ties. So what have these last 12 hours been like for you?
Well, and, you know, I've been on the mornings covering Justin's on vacation, and, you know, just incredible to walk folks through this event and talk about all the issues that we were having this morning. And I mean, near and around Hazard, they picked up around 9 inches of rainfall. Now listen, the 24-hour state record is 10.5 inches. So we're pretty close to that mark. And this could be a 1 in 200, 1 in 500 type year event. I mean, this is really rare. We just don't get flooding like this. So very historic, very heartbreaking. And of course, trying to do everything I can to get that information out to the folks like this morning. And of course, rescues, things like that continue through this afternoon, this evening. And not a lot changes with that, folks, over the next several days, because those folks in southeastern Kentucky will need a lot of help moving forward. As far as the rainfall amounts over the last 24 hours, just simply impressive. And you can see the heavy axis of rain that hit southern and far southeastern Kentucky. And rainfall totals like this is just not something we see too often around our area. A swath of 6 upwards to 10 to 12 inches in some locations, nearly a foot of water. And you're talking a foot of water in terrain like southeastern Kentucky. It just leads to many, many problems like we're seeing with these videos. these photos, all these reports that continue to roll in, just bad out there. Flood watch continues, been extended. This will take us through your Friday afternoon into Friday night to our far south and east, and notice all of the active flash flood warnings that continue across those areas. Here in Lexington, though, getting in on some sunshine. It's warm, pretty muggy out there. Temperatures upper 80s, dew points in the low 70s. You put those two together, yeah, it's an icky feel outside, and we're seeing temperatures in the 80s in many locations. A little cooler to our far south and east, but they've been dealing with not only some cloud cover, but a few more showers and storms starting to ramp back up. And unfortunately, we're not done yet. Cold front has to make its move through the state. We're watching rounds of showers and storms developing back to our west. This will track eastward. More development across far southern and southeastern Kentucky. Yeah, that's going to be a possibility through this evening into tonight, and of course could lead to more flooding issues across those areas. So let's talk about it. Futurecast into this evening, a little bit later on tonight. Showers and storms ramping up, becoming likely. Some of these storms could be on the strong to severe side. Now, the main threats with this activity will be high wind gusts, torrential rainfall, and those flash flooding issues. But as we get into your Friday morning, still holding on to that chance for some isolated development, and that's going to stick around as we get into the afternoon hours as well. So because of that, the flash flood risk is pretty high. We're talking a moderate risk for a good chunk of the area. That's a level 3 out of 4. So as far as the flooding potential is concerned, very high. The threat for heavy rain, very high. And as far as the potential wind threat, it's up there with some of these storms just because we've had a little bit of sunshine out there and some time for the atmosphere to destabilize. So as we work into your Friday afternoon, we're not done yet. Some isolated development still hanging on before we start to trend drier into your Saturday. And that is some good news for portions of central, especially eastern Kentucky. Temperature-wise, low and mid-80s, but we're not done yet. Look what happens for your Sunday. Showers and storms making a return to the forecast once again. And this pattern just seems very relentless right now. As you see this boundary beginning to shift back towards the north, our next wave moving in, so scattered showers and storms making a return once again. As we look ahead for your Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, it looks like that'll spill over into early next week. For tonight, upper 60s, again, more showers and storms likely, some of those on the strong side. Low 80s for your Friday, and it's a rinse and repeat of a forecast, but we finally start to dry out, but it's brief for your Saturday. More showers and storms ahead for your Sunday. That continues into next week, and then we're going to shift our focus into some heat. Upper 80s, Tuesday, low 90s returning next midweek. Keep it right here. Sports is coming up after the break.
Scan the QR code on your screen now and download the Fox 56 News app. Sponsored by Absolute Services. Fox 56 Sports.
Once again, Kentucky is rallying together to try and help our neighbors in need, this time in eastern and southeastern Kentucky after flooding overnight. And much like the team did and is still doing for those affected by the western Kentucky tornadoes in December, head UK men's hoops coach John Calipari tweeting this afternoon, sending out prayers to the eastern part of the state. He also says that he'll be getting together with the team to figure out how to help the community. It's bigger than basketball. Now the team is on the court still working out together ahead of their Bahamas trip coming up in a couple of weeks. We've heard from the veterans how focused this group is. Today we got to talk with some of the assistants next to Coach Calipari on the bench. So one takeaway from listening to them today is everyone is adding to their game to help this team reach another notch.
There's a group of guys that are first in the gym, but Jacob's one of them, Chris is one of them. Guys are doing it differently, you know, but there's a group that goes at 7 in the morning. We call that the Breakfast Club. So we have about 4 or 5 that have been in that group. So I guess those are the first guys, the Breakfast Club guys. So.
Hey, early cat gets the breakfast, right? To whom much is given, much is expected. And that's the case for Jacob Toppin this summer. He's challenged himself, and the coaches are too, to expand his outside game while also banging down in the post some more.
We're going to demand a lot out of him, and you know, he's extended his range out to 3, and he can make it. But we're asking him not to fall in love with the 3. You know, like the 3, but love getting into that paint and getting to the free throw line, putting pressure on the opposing team's defense.
Now they're getting ready for the Bahamas in a couple of weeks. EKU leaving this weekend. I told EKU, the players, they're excited. Some of their first times out of the country. Told them not to do anything you wouldn't do down there.
All right. Well, that leaves them pretty well open. Thank you, Mitch.
All right, thank you for being here with us. Our flood coverage continues next at 7. See you then.
Bye.